For those who I haven't met, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Father Stephen Logue, and I have been a priest for just over a year. And after finishing up some extra graduate studies, I've been assigned here at St. Leo's as the parochial vicar, which means my jobs are to learn from Father Hahn and to help him. This morning, I'm helping him by giving him a nice relaxing morning and taking the 7:30. I'm from York originally, so not far away, and if you're thinking that you may have seen me before, there are two likely explanations. First, I was assigned here 2 years ago as a seminarian, and second, I've been told I bear a striking resemblance to your own Father John Kaczynski. So we've been confused many times before. Just this past Thursday, we celebrated the 4th of July, Independence Day, the day when America declared herself and her citizens to be free. And this theme of freedom keeps coming up in subtle ways in our readings today. Freedom, and specifically the theme of the Exodus from Egypt, the great act of God giving freedom to his chosen people. The first reading is a prophecy of Isaiah about a time when Jerusalem will be freed from all those who persecute her, and she will be blessed with prosperity. In the psalm, the third stanza says, "He has changed the sea into dry land. Through the river they passed on foot," referencing the escape through the Red Sea and eventually across the Jordan River into Egypt, or into the Promised Land during the Exodus. In both instances, God parted the waters and allowed his people to pass through on dry ground. In his letter to the Galatians, Paul is addressing what it means to be free in Christ when there are so many strict Jewish laws and customs, since many Christians were disagreeing as to which laws they should and should not follow. And in the gospel, Jesus appoints 72 others to go out and preach the good news, hearkening back to Moses, appointing 72 elders to help him lead the people during the Exodus. However, the world often looks at this understanding of freedom and scoffs. Many would say, how can you claim to bring freedom when you impose such harsh, restrictive rules on your people? And while this is a very good question, it's not a new question. The Israelites struggled with God's rules and guidance when they left Egypt, even to the point that some of them suggested it would be better if they returned to Egypt and to slavery. And later, many early Christians, like those Galatians addressed in Paul's letter today, struggled to understand which rules they were supposed to follow, now that Christ had freed them from slavery to sin and death. They often felt that they should be totally free from all those old pesky rules. And of course today, many reject Christianity because they feel the faith is only about restrictive rules, ruining any chance at having fun. The world thinks that true freedom is a freedom from pain, from suffering, from restrictions, discomfort, and inconvenience. However, Christ shows us that true freedom is not a freedom from, but it is a freedom for. It is a freedom for excellence. It is the freedom to move from the place of slavery into the Promised Land. The true expression of freedom in the story of the Exodus is not the Israelites crossing the Red Sea to get away from the Egyptians. It is the Israelites choosing to follow God through the long and difficult road and ultimately crossing the Jordan River into the Promised Land. While we too often focus on crossing the Red Sea, only Christ can lead us across the Jordan into the heavenly Jerusalem, where we shall find our comfort. The world offers chains disguised as comfort and convenience. Satan offers chains obscured by lies and empty promises. anything to get us to turn back to slavery, the way the Israelites were tempted to turn back to Egypt. But when we come here, when we come to Mass, when we come to confession, those chains that we've accumulated fall away, and we can be sent out like those 72 in today's gospel to show the world what true freedom really is, by our joy and by the way we live our lives. Like the Israelites in the desert, it is not an easy road or even a short road. However, the sacraments are our water springing forth from rocks and our manna in the wilderness. When we're strengthened by these sacraments, we can follow God as the Israelites followed the pillar of fire in the desert. And when we follow God, Christ again watches Satan fall like lightning from the sky, and we rejoice because Christ has shown us the way to have our names written in heaven, our eternal promised land. That, my brothers and sisters, is true freedom.